Welcome back, everybody. Today we have something very special to go over with you. I got my boy Azazzell here joining me. We're gonna go over in a series of videos exactly the easiest and best ways to go ahead and try your best to get Lydia from Faction Wars. We're gonna give you all the details. This starting video here is going to be all about the tips, tricks, Lydia's kit, and any general information that we can give you before we go into specifics as far as each boss mechanic and what best champions to use in each faction. Azazzell, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, and welcome everyone. So, as many of you know, Faction Wars is the true end game content of this game. It's the last hurdle that everyone not necessarily has to. You have a choice of not doing it, but if you want to reach the full potential of your champions, or rather unlock their full potential, you need the glyphs. It's the reality of this game. Finally, we are approaching the point when beating Faction Wars will not just yield you chickens or silver, gems, books, and shards, but the actual champion that nobody can pull.
Yep.
But the completion of Faction Wars.
Exactly.
However, before we will get to the champion, both me and Manibal will talk about her. First of all, let's cover why the glyphs are important. And potentially, in any category, glyphs can provide you a big amount of stats that any champion, whether it's attack, HP, defense, support, doesn't matter, missing. This is where the true potential of all champions come from. All the end game players dream about getting 6-star glyphs. And unfortunately, 6-star glyphs only can drop in 18, 19, 20, and 21. But the real chance of them, which is 15%, comes from 20, stage 20, and stage 21, respectively, of each faction. And the 6-star glyph is much better than 5 stars. It's just so much better.
Absolutely.
Before, there were some content creators. Chosen comes to mind. I think Matt Capper as well, and probably Scratch, who were leaning towards the notion that 20 and 21 were the same. Most of us in jail were kind of skeptical about that because we had a different data. But lately, the data mine data proved that 20 and 21 is exactly the same when it comes to the glyphs.
Yes.
So
go ahead.
Oh no. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, so which basically means that you only have to clear stage 21 once and never go back there ever again. But go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. So before, a lot of end game players, because most of us are very bored, we started do speed runs for 21 because there's literally nothing else to do.
Right.
Thinking that it actually also guarantees a better glyph chance. It doesn't. There's only one small part. We will actually come back to it down the line in the video, but it has a stage 21 has a bigger forged material pool. So anytime you clear the stage 21 versus 20, there's a small difference in amount of materials you get. But we will get to that point in the future. I guess let's just mention and remind everyone how many factions we have. Because there's 13 of them, we have an odd day when there's 3 factions unlocked. So for anyone who wants to plan and kind of keep track of how many factions they can farm, each faction on average will open 5 times a month, guys. So plan it accordingly.
Yep.
Sometimes you will get a chance when the faction just randomly appears back to back, and then once again in about 6-7 days. So it can be open for 6 times a month, but then the other faction, some other faction, will be only open 4. So, but on average, it's 5 times a month, no less than that. This is the amount of glyphs you can get. Assuming that you're farming later stages, which are 20 and 21, or even 19, which all consume 4 keys, we all have 15 runs per faction. Now, thankfully, because of the advanced quest, we all have another one run per faction every day,
Which is huge.
which is a huge deal, by the way.
Yeah.
The value of advanced quests, everything else is relevant, but this fact of 6 additional keys that we get. So, and just a quick reminder, I know we probably all know this, but it's every time you complete that particular quest, you can ignore all other quests for all you care. But it's 6 keys per faction, guys. Not total, but per faction. So on a day when there's a 3 factions open, you have 18 keys.
Which is huge.
18 keys
Yeah.
is a
And the only thing that you have to do is 5 tag team arena matches, and it's the same quest each and every day. So I mean, it's not hard what to do whatsoever. If you're limited on time, I'd say that the most important thing for you to do daily is clan boss and just get your faction wars done if you have like a really busy day. But those 2 areas are the areas that are the mostly gonna help you improve your your in-game stats and progression in the game. So I think that that's really, really vital. I mentioned it before to Azazzell and to other colleagues of mine that my Sifi is at a 330 speed. That's what she's run at without glyphs. She's at 375 with glyphs. So at 330 speed, I could not compete in top platinum or in platinum. So it just goes to show you the power of glyphs and why it's so important to do. So yeah, we just wanted to definitely touch up on that because it's super, super crucial. I guess we can move on to the next points that we have because we did go through quite a few points.
Yeah, I propose to move to the actual gem of the faction wars, and that is the reward champion
Yes.
of what many of us who finished faction wars or about to finish. And her name is Lydia. By looking at her kit, I would say that at the moment she is probably the most powerful champion yet to be in a game. Do you want to read out her skills manual?
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and do that. And I'll pull it right up right now. So her skills are just like insane. So let's start off with her A1 because it's kind of, you have to really pay attention to really understand everything that she does. So her A1 attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn, has a 75% chance of increasing the duration of any poison sensitivity debuff by 1 turn. Attacks enemy champions with this skill whenever they place a freeze, stun, fear, or true fear debuff on an ally. That right there, that's crazy, but that's not enough. The number of attacks increases according to how many debuffs are placed at that time. 1 attack for each freeze, stun, fear, true fear debuff place. The first attack will target the attackers, while all extra hits will attack random enemies. So this is kind of like when you're going there and you're going to face a team with Lydia, which I do believe that Lydia is going to be used in arena for sure. I have the strongest feeling ever that she will be. It means that debuffs are going to play a huge, like this is going to be a meta changer for sure. Because the more debuff, like you're going in there with a Hedgie that's in stun set, boom, you're going to proc her A1 and she may fear you, and it's like, it's probably the most powerful A1 in the game. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah, by far. Because as you mentioned, it's 75% knowing how Plarium works around their books. It's 100% chance.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a guaranteed debuff. Okay, of course it can be resisted, but that's another topic.
Right.
Usually when you attack, you don't bring a heavy resistance team. So if you want to debuff enemy team with Lydia, you better have those immunity artifacts.
Yes,
Or
absolutely.
it's just not happening.
Absolutely. So that right there, hands down, best A1 ever. Okay. Now her A2, Siren's Wail. It has a 4-turn cooldown, which I'm sure it's going to get brought down to 3 turns. So attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense, and a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns, which that alone is like one of the best abilities ever. And only, 2 champions have it in the game, Draco and Venus. So now she has it too. An AoE, defense down, and weaken. I think it's just Draco and Venus, from my understanding. I think Spider may have weaken, but
Spider.
He has the 15% weaken.
Oh yeah, it is 15. My bad. It's not even big chance. Yeah. So it's the only 2. Yeah.
So and mind you, that's not enough. We're gonna go ahead and put the strongest defense buff in the game, which is a 25% strengthen, and a 30% increased speed buff on all allies. So this, again, the most broken ability ever. Like,
yeah, this is the biggest ability in the game.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So,
and she attacks on top of that.
Which we are going to go into her stats. Shout out to Deegs. As soon as I'm done reading all of this, Deegs was able to actually data mine her stats. And they're very different than what you guys saw on other websites and things like that. So be sure to tune in because we're going over that as well. So her A3 now, the first hit has a 75% chance, which I'm sure is going to be booked to 100, a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. The second hit has a 75% chance of placing a block buffs and block cooldown skills for debuff for 2 turns. This right here,
ability.
this is so much madness. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to the poison sensitivity. I mean, in clan boss, it's going to be amazing. But let's look at this in an arena aspect, okay? What's happening so much in arena? We are having so many people use that Swift Parry set. Guess what block buffs is going to do? It's going to remove the chance of that Swift Parry proccing. So
yeah, pretty much.
That's just insane. This is an insane ability. Okay? And it's for 2 turns. It's for 2 turns. So it's not even for 1 turn. So if you really dissect and look at her kit, like exactly what she does, she is just insane. Now, this isn't enough. They had to go and put a crazy passive on her as well. Death Hold passive. Again, the best passive in the game, in my opinion. Denies enemy revive attempts. This works even if this champion is dead. If this champion is alive, when an enemy revive is denied, revives all dead allies with 50% HP, 50% turn meter. Grants an extra turn instead if there are no dead allies. If this champion is dead, when an enemy revive is denied, revives this champion with 50% HP, 50% turn meter. This will ignore block
revive. The last part, and this is just my understanding of the skill. This only applies to your team, or maybe her specifically, but the way I understand it, someone got killed on your team with block revive, she doesn't care. She will still revive herself or the ally champion with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. I mean, Rotos is not very viable block revive anymore, but let's say it's I don't know, Phoenix or I don't know, Blood Gorge, whoever is there.
Yeah.
Foley is a good example.
Yeah.
He kills the entire team, but she's alive. She will revive everyone with a full, half turn meter, half HP, and the attacker is pretty much screwed. If they aren't incapable of killing her, it doesn't matter if you block revived rest of the team.
That's just
my
crazy.
understanding of the skill.
And
so she just ignores that ability.
Right. I mean, if this is used in an arena, I mean, you're never going to go through that duration cooldown again. I mean, arena matches are very quick. So this champion to me seems like she's going to be a must-have on every single offense almost, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just based on her kit. So even though they kind of wanted to make her like universal for everything, I think she can be amazing in dungeons. Obviously, like 5 stars in dungeon. I see she can be incredible in Clan Boss. She is like, there's no place that she's not good
Yeah,
in my
absolutely
opinion.
no place where she is not good in. She
Now,
is a perfect champion.
perfect champion.
If you wanna talk about the champion that fits any content, she is a top pick. Not
Perfect.
Draco, not Venus, just her. She
No,
just does it all.
100%. So now, thanks to Deegs, huge shout out to you. Can you run over her base stats that have been data mined?
Oh yeah. What we know is, and once again, they announced that they're gonna change that. Her base speed is 105, but they will, as far as I understand, decrease that
Yeah.
to try to balance her, which is kind of sad because 105 is actually a very good base speed, but
Right.
it is what it is. We don't know how much they're gonna reduce the speed. I don't think they're gonna nerf it too much, maybe 100, but that's just a guess. Now, her base HP is 19,380. Unless it's not gonna get nerfed as well, this is what we should get fully ascended at level 60. Her base attack is 836. Her base defense is 1176. Nothing too crazy, not bad. Then her resistance is 30. She has no base accuracy, and her critical chance and critical damage are regular thing for the support champions, which is 15 for crit rate and 50 for critical damage. So there's
Yeah.
nothing.
So
And of course, she's void.
yes, so she's void. So considering that we now have an idea of what her base stats are, unless they change it drastically, and a champion with 800 base attack as an attack champion is not a champion you ever want to build to do damage. This is going to be the kind of champion, in my opinion, that you want to build with the highest speed possible and the highest accuracy possible. I feel like she's going to take over a lot of people's madame's roles. She can't strip buffs, but like
She
buffs and
applies
stuff.
weaken.
But she applies
weaken.
Yeah, she applies weaken. So I think that that's how her build is really going to function, just survivability. We know her multipliers, they're not high. So again, I would never build this champion in in like Savage and things like that. This champion, you want her to have the chance of applying all these different debuffs that she has. So
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah. So that kind of covers Lydia.
The next tip when it comes to faction wars specifically and overall the game is working on your champions. Guys, let's say you have like a pool of 20, 25 good champions that you rotate in clan boss, dungeons. You have dungeon speed runs noted down. You slowly starting to work on, branching out in your arena, so you don't use just the same team all the time. I've seen a lot of people kind of just bunkering down and not developing any more champions because they feel that these additional champions will not improve their accounts that much. Well, that's not true. Specifically for faction wars, you need to have flexible and big rosters. Another thing, Doom Tower is around the corner. More information will come further down the line about it, but my guess is we will be forced to rotate different affinities, different factions, attack, defense, support champ, all of that. All towers of that sort are done exactly the same in other games, where you just forced occasionally on some like room or level or whatever it's called, where you have to use a specific group of champions. You just can't progress further. So if you don't work on your champions, you're gonna be stuck. No matter how good or how well equipped your existing ones, you need to have, I would say, like a roster of like 50, 60 different level 60s to really cover all aspects of the game. So work on your champions, guys. You see a leveling event, and you have like some spare energy, toss it there, level some guys, leave them. Not necessarily you have to master them. That's another topic. But levels, and if you can, ascensions, do them. Do not sit on bunch of level 40s or level 1s. They literally bring nothing to your account. So
100%.
another tip for faction wars is the gear. Gearing every single faction across multiple champions and leveling all the gear to plus 16 is insanely costly. We're talking about tens of millions of silver, if not 100 or more. So when you decided to progress through the each faction, and you feel like you don't necessarily have the best champion roster, move your best gear from your best top tier champions to whatever faction opened that day and progress as far as you can.
That's the best tip that anyone's ever given me, and I'll tell you that that's huge, especially considering now that you don't have to do 21 except one time. So it is by far the best tip. Move that gear around. You know, it's gonna save you so much in the long run. We just read out to you how busted this champion is. You know, this is all worth it. This is really all is really worth it. And when it comes to gear, just like kind of Azazzell was saying, you're gonna want to be able to farm stage 20 as consistently as possible. For me, what works for me, that has helped me significantly, is trying to pick each in each faction champions that primarily have all AoE moves. Doesn't matter how hard they hit, but just having AoE moves and putting them all in like stun sets, in daze sets, in in any kind of set that's gonna CC the enemy. That's gonna be one of the easiest ways, and making sure that they go twice as fast as all the champions inside a faction war, all the enemies in the faction wars, because all they have is their base speed. So if you make all of your champions at 200 speed or higher, your chances are you're going to go twice. And if you're using an AoE champ, 3 AoE champs, for example, that means that for 3, that means you're going to go 6 times most likely before the enemy is going to go once. So the chances are you're going to have a lot of them stun locked, or in any kind of different kind of CC. So that's one thing that's really helped me a lot. The goal of this guide here, everything that we're doing, is to show you the path of least resistance in getting to Lydia at the end of the day. So that's what we're trying to show you, and not showing you that you don't need all legendaries in each and every single faction.
Yeah. So moving gear, just to wrap it up, is the cheapest way. It feels like spending up to like 2 million because it's all 6-star gear. Moving from one champion to another is a big deal. It's not. If you guys remember your upgrading chances, sometimes 2 million is not enough to upgrade one piece. So it's cheap. Just move it around, get it done, and then move forward the next day. Once you start really focusing on faction wars. Since we're talking about gear, might as well cover the most commonly used sets to progress. And in my opinion, it's anything that can be used to stun, freeze on some tanking champions when you're being attacked back, daze, and provoke sets. Plus the sets that Clan Boss drops. Immortal gear is very good in the faction wars. That constant sustain of HP by just taking turns is a big deal. In fact, faction wars is the only place where I found any use for the heal set, the one that heals you for 10% every time you take a turn. But if you think about it, if you have a support champion who's fast that heals 10% every time they take a turn, they can sustain themselves by just taking turns, nothing else. Right. So sets like that have their niche in faction wars. I mean, Satsang is great, everyone. People use it in dungeons, arena, very popular set. There's a lot of provoke sets. in arena as well. So by leveling items in these sets, you don't just throw away silver to level it once, use it once, and forget about it. No. You're always gonna use these sets. So these are the best. If you don't have them, just piece together whatever you can and just go. Usually, you will have a champion or two that can provide some sort of CC on the waves.
Right.
And the safest progression of faction wars is when you in full control of the waves. When you control either the turn meter or you keep everyone disabled. That's it. If you can maintain that, it doesn't matter what your damage is. You will progress through the stage no matter what. With only exception of the boss stages, but we will
we're gonna cover that
later. Forge. Now that we have Forge instead of Campfire, rest in peace, the Campfire. Crafting materials. Faction Wars is the only place where we get the materials, and the most popular set is Perception. However, for people who are still, I wouldn't say like in super late game and still trying to find like usable pieces, Resilience is actually not a bad set. It's a 2-piece set. It has decent substats. It's better than HP or defense set by themselves.
Yep.
So, and sometimes when you craft it, because a lot of these materials drop, you sometimes can get like a real gem, like a 6-star legendary piece with good substats. Always roll them. And another small thing for the people who are struggling with silver, craft the items if you have access materials and sell them. It costs 10,000 silver to craft a piece, but I'm just gonna craft one piece for you right there. I cannot use this. I get 40 back. So if you think about it, if you crafted like 50 pieces, it's tedious, but this is for the people who, trying to mix match your resources. You just got 2 million silver by just pressing a button here. That's it.
Very good. So, very well pointed. Yeah.
This just goes to show, always do your faction wars. You can do stage 5, do it 6 times, because I believe it's 2 keys. It's going to be fast. Put it on auto clicker on the repeat button. Do it over and again. Come back in about 15 minutes. Collect your rewards, or rather, they are collected anyways automatically, which is a good thing about faction wars, and just move on. Do not skip. Eventually, all these materials will come in handy. So that's for the Forge. And we already covered that this is the path to the end game progression. Before you feed any rare or epic, either ask yourself, or maybe if you have access to a Discord or maybe a Reddit thread where you can get credible information, though Reddit is not the best place to get that, ask around if that rare or epic actually usable down the line, anywhere in the game. And if people tell you that, hey, that's a good guy or gal to use in faction wars, put it in a vault, save it for later. If they tell you it's a chicken, of course, feed it. So before you feed anything, just take a pause, take like 5 minutes, even probably less, and just ask around if it's a decent champion. Because you will be surprised by how many different rares and sometimes uncommons you can use in faction wars with a great success. It's very important because rares and uncommons are super easy to level up. That is with a champion. And
that's where like Discords come in as well. Join our Discord, we're there, we're active. Any questions you have in the Faction War section, Azazzell's pretty active in there, and he streams as well, so that way you can actually I mean, he can show you. He's so helpful. We're all so helpful. We all want you to get this champion. That way, everybody has her and gets a huge power creep on the game. So don't be shy to go in there, ask questions. Even in my Discord, we started a new section called a new player section. So if you have questions as a new player, you don't have to feel shy or anything like that, typing it in the main Discord. So, I mean, we're trying to give you all the resources in addition to these videos to help you get that faction wars done. Go ahead, Azazzell.
Yeah, guys, join. We have a lot of powerhouses, Kalari, Deeks, just to name the few. One to mess, people's favorite lately. We all there. We all respond to questions. If you want to tag us,
100%.
we will get to you and answer your questions. So join Manabel's Discord. It's a great place to be. I think this is for the general
Perfect.
understanding the faction wars. We pretty much, in my opinion, done, because in details we can go later, which we should.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. So we don't want to make this too long. So this is the first series of video, everyone. We're going to do a total of 6 videos in total. The point that we're trying to do here, what we're trying to illustrate is in this video, we wanted to give you some basic tips, talk about Lydia, talk about the importance of faction wars. Another thing that I want to mention to all of you is that when you're upgrading your Great Hall, think to yourself that you're gaining about a 20 to 25% advantage in base stats. When you're in Gold 4, it's a 20% extra in base stats. When you're doing faction wars, glyphs on average give you another 20 to 25% in your base stats. So all of that together, you're almost at 200% of your base stats before even any gear is applied. So this is all going to really help out if there's going to be really challenging content in the Doom Tower. So it's a great idea to really make sure that you do focus on this. It seems overwhelming at first, especially when you're first starting the game, but kind of set yourself goals. If you see that crypt is opening in 7 days, try to work on leveling every single day, maybe somebody to 40, somebody to 50, something like that. So that way, when you get to that crypt that day, you can excel and get past the next stage and move on little by little, by little. A little bit of progression is significantly better than no progression whatsoever, because eventually you're going to get to the goal that you want to accomplish. So that's kind of what I wanted to say in regards to this. We're going to wrap this video up right here. The next segments of videos, it's going to be a total of 5 videos. What we're going to do is we're going to go into each and every single faction and each and every single boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the boss, and that boss is going to pertain to basically a couple of factions, either 3, 2, or 4, however many there are. Then what we'll do is we'll cover exactly how the boss's mechanics work, and then we're going to cover exactly what's the easiest ways in each faction to defeat that boss. So that's what's going to be coming up in the next 5 videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you, Azazzell, so much.